You know that moment. You pull back a little. Maybe you got busy. Maybe you got tired of always initiating. Maybe you just wanted to see if she would notice. And then there it is. That photo. Not just any photo. The one where she looks a little more polished than usual. A little more effortless. A little more unreachable. The lighting is soft. The caption is casual. But you can feel it. It lands in your chest before your brain even finds the words. And now you're staring at your screen thinking, so that's what this is? Why now? Is she trying to get my attention? Is this about me? Does she want me to feel something? Or worse, does she not care at all? Here's the truth most people miss. She didn't suddenly post that because she became shallow. She posted it because attention and emotional safety are more connected than most people realize. You're not crazy for feeling thrown by it, and she's not automatically manipulative for doing it. This is not just social media drama. This is what disconnection looks like when it stops using words. By the end of this video, you'll understand what that photo is really saying beneath the surface, why your distance changes her behavior so fast, and how to tell whether she's reaching for connection, validation, control, or closure. Let's get into it. Most couples believe moments like this are about ego, games, or attention seeking. But the real truth is that a lot of relationship behavior makes no sense until you understand what happens to a person's nervous system when they stop feeling chosen. That's the part nobody explains. Your partner's nervous system is reading you before their mind can catch up. When your presence changes, when your attention cools, when the warmth in your tone disappears, she feels it long before she can always explain it clearly. And when safety leaves a relationship, the love doesn't always disappear. A lot of times it goes underground. So what does it do instead? It leaks out sideways, through silence, through distance, through mood shifts, through that photo. Most people in relationships look at the surface behavior and miss the emotional pattern underneath it. He pulls back to protect himself or regain space. She feels the shift and her attachment system activates. If she leans anxious, the unspoken feeling is, something changed. I need to restore connection. If she has learned not to ask directly or doesn't trust vulnerability will be met well, she may reach for visibility instead of honesty. Not because she's evil, not because she's playing chess, not because she's trying to ruin your peace, but because for a lot of people, being seen feels safer than saying, I miss you. I feel you leaving. I don't know what to do with that. And bro, this is where it gets really interesting. What looks like attention seeking is often protest behavior. In attachment psychology, protest behavior is what people do when they fear disconnection but don't know how to ask cleanly for reassurance. So the photo is not always a message, but it is often a signal that something in her wants to feel desired, felt, confirmed, or recentered in your mind again. Once you understand that, everything changes. Now you can stop reacting only to the post and start understanding the pattern that produced it. 1. The photo is often a protest, not a performance. Most couples see the photo and assume it's just vanity or social media addiction. Most people in relationships never stop to ask what emotional state created the impulse in the first place. The deeper truth is that when she feels your attention drift, her nervous system may register it like a drop in relational safety. And when someone doesn't know how to say, I feel you pulling away and it's scaring me, they often reach for a form of indirect visibility instead. She feels unsettled. He feels suffocated or tired. And just like that, two people who both want connection get pulled into cycles they don't understand. Here's what that looks like in real life. Disconnecting version. She feels you go quiet for 2 days, posts a photo that says, doing me, without saying anything. And you respond with, wow, so this is what we're doing now? Connecting version. She feels the distance, pauses, and says, you felt different the last couple days. I'm trying not to overthink it, but I can feel myself getting withdrawn. Can we talk? That shift matters, because when the signal becomes honest, the game starts dying. And when you do that, the walls between you start to come down, without either of you having to say a word. 2. Attention is not superficial when it represents safety. Here's the part no one talks about. Most couples minimize attention because they confuse it with approval seeking, when a lot of the time, it actually represents emotional presence. You think she's reacting to likes, but beneath the surface, she may be reacting to absence. For many women, especially if old attachment wounds are active, attention is not just about being admired. It's about being felt. It's about whether the person she cares about is emotionally available, tuned in, turning toward her, still there. When that starts to drift, her system may reach for the fastest proof of desirability it can find. Not because strangers matter more, but because reassurance somewhere feels easier than vulnerability in the relationship itself. Her inner monologue might sound like, if he doesn't see me, maybe someone will. And honestly, that sentence carries more pain than pride. Disconnecting version, you say, "Why do you need random people validating you?" Connecting version, you say, "I could be wrong, but that post made me wonder if you've been feeling unnoticed by me lately." One response attacks the behavior, the other sees the need beneath it. And that's when your partner stops feeling like a problem to manage and starts feeling like a person to come home to. 3. Withdrawal creates a vacuum, and vacuums always get filled. This is where it gets really interesting. Most couples think pulling back is neutral. It isn't. Emotional withdrawal changes the whole climate of a relationship. Not louder conversations, not more compromising, not some clever texting formula, but the emotional temperature between two people changes everything. When you stop paying attention, you may think you're just creating space, but if there hasn't been repair, clarity, or reassurance, she may experience that space as ambiguity. And ambiguity is brutal on the nervous system, especially if she already has patterns around abandonment, inconsistency, or having to work hard to be chosen. So what fills the vacuum? Overthinking, image management, protest behavior, emotional testing. He feels, why can't she just be normal about this? She feels, why do I suddenly feel invisible in my own relationship? Disconnecting version, you go cold, she posts more, you get harsher, and now both of you are reacting to reactions. Connecting version, before the vacuum grows, you say, I've been more distant lately. That's on me. I don't want you guessing where you stand with me. That one sentence is repair. That one sentence creates safety. That one sentence can stop 3 weeks of unnecessary drift. Because when ambiguity leaves, the relationship stops feeling like emotional weather and starts feeling like shelter. 4. Sometimes the photo is power, not connection. And this is the one most couples never figure out. Not every post is a cry for closeness. Sometimes it's a bid to regain power after feeling emotionally powerless. Most people in relationships don't know the difference between a connection bid and a control bid, because from the outside, they can look identical. Same photo, same timing, same caption. But beneath the surface, the emotional engine is completely different. When someone feels hurt, ignored, or low in relational power, they may try to rebalance the dynamic by becoming newly desirable in public. The unspoken feeling is not always, see me. Sometimes it's, feel what I felt, or even, you don't get to be the only one with leverage here. Her internal monologue might be, if he thinks he can just drift and I'll sit here waiting, he needs to remember I have options. That doesn't mean she doesn't care. It means care and resentment are now sharing the same room. Disconnecting version. She posts to trigger, you react to the trigger. Go talk to whoever's in your comments then. Connecting version. You slow down and ask, are you trying to reconnect with me right now? Or are you trying to show me you don't need me? That is not weakness. That's emotional precision. And when you name the real pattern instead of fighting the performance, you stop feeding the cycle that keeps both of you behind walls. 5. If she can't ask softly, she will signal loudly. But here's what nobody explains. Most couples are not struggling because they don't care. They're struggling because direct emotional language feels too exposed. If a woman has learned that saying, I miss you, gets her dismissed, if saying, I need more from you, makes her feel needy, if every honest attempt at repair has ended in defensiveness, shutdown, or half-hearted reassurance, then softness stops feeling safe. And once softness stops feeling safe, symbolism takes over. That's why she may post instead of speak, flirt instead of confess, glow up instead of open up. Her nervous system is basically acting like a smoke detector. It cannot always tell the difference between emotional disappointment and emotional danger, so it sounds the alarm either way. And the alarm may come out looking polished, detached, even confident. But beneath the surface, what she feels may be, I don't know how to reach you without risking humiliation. Disconnecting version. If you had a problem, you should have just said something. Connecting version. Maybe you didn't feel like you could bring this to me directly. If that's true, I want to understand why. Most couples never ask that second question. Emotionally mature people do. And that's the shift that turns a relationship that feels like a negotiation into one that feels like a refuge. 6. Your reaction reveals the real dynamic. Here's the part that can sting a little. Most couples focus on why she posted it, but your reaction to it tells you just as much about the relationship as the post itself. If you instantly feel rage, panic, jealousy, or the urge to punish, That's data. If you feel the need to act colder, disappear longer, or prove you don't care, that's data too. Your nervous system is not reacting to a photo. It's reacting to what the photo means inside the pattern between you. Maybe it means, I'm losing control. Maybe it means, I'm being replaced. Maybe it means, she can hurt me now. Not because the post is powerful on its own. Not because you're weak. Not because your feelings make you toxic. But because unresolved disconnection gives everything extra voltage. His inner voice might sound like, so that's how replaceable I am. And once that story takes over, you stop seeing her clearly too. Disconnecting version. You post back, go missing, get sarcastic, or send a dry, nice pic. Connecting version. You sit with the trigger first, then say, that post brought something up in me. I don't want to play games with it. I want to understand what's happening between us. Man, that's strength. That's presence. That's what repair starts to look like. And when you respond from awareness instead of injury, the whole emotional climate between you starts becoming more real. 7. The real fix is not more attention, it's clearer presence. And here's what changes everything. Most couples think the solution is simple. Just give her more attention. But attention without emotional truth only delays the cycle. It doesn't heal it. This isn't a communication hack. This is just what two emotionally mature people naturally do. They stop feeding patterns. They start telling the truth sooner. Because the real need is not endless reassurance. The real need is presence that feels steady, clear, and emotionally available. If she posts because she feels unseen, random compliments won't fix it if your energy still feels withdrawn. If you pull back because you feel pressured, forced affection won't fix it if resentment is still building beneath the surface. What actually works is naming the pattern together. Something like, when I get distant, you feel it fast. And when you feel it, you reach in ways that trigger me more. I don't want us living in that cycle anymore. Then give the relationship something real to stand on. Clarity, consistency, repair, honest reassurance, boundaries that don't punish. Disconnecting version. Fine, I'll text more. Happy now? Connecting version. I don't want to just manage symptoms. I want us to feel safe enough that neither of us has to perform pain to be noticed. That is the shift. That is maturity. That is love becoming conscious. And that's when the relationship stops feeling like two wounded people testing each other and starts feeling like two people finally turning toward each other for real. So if you've been staring at that photo trying to decode whether it's petty, strategic, emotional, or accidental, here's what I want you to remember. The post matters less than the pattern. Always. Because once you understand the cycle beneath the surface, you stop reacting like someone who feels powerless and start responding like someone who actually knows what connection requires. This isn't a checklist. It's an invitation. An invitation to become more honest, more steady, more emotionally available. The kind of partner who doesn't just chase closeness when it feels good, but knows how to create safety when things feel shaky. These aren't tips for a better relationship. They're the beginning of becoming the kind of partner you always wanted someone to be for you. The moment you stop reading the signal as drama and start reading it as data, you give love a real chance to become something stronger than ego. If this hit home for you, make sure you subscribe and drop a comment with the word pattern if you've ever seen this happen in real time. If you want, I can also do the next cleanup pass and give you